This episode of the Red Bull Rant is by the fine patrons that support us through patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. You can support us for the low price of $1 a month, and you can get exclusive content, including a monthly wrap-up for the New York Red Bulls. We want to send a special shout-out to our patrons who support us at $5 a month. That is our producer-level reward. Thank you to Jeremiah Dempster, William Martin, Gwen Rachesco, Clayton John, Chris Adamek, and Maeve Dartinez. Now, on to the show. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. If you aren't expecting adult language, why even bother listening? Welcome, my friends. The show never ends. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. I'm your host, Jason Iapicco.
I'm Pat McDonald.
And I'm Truman, and this is episode 386. The Bulls, the Boys, and the champ is back, BayBay.
God, of course he's going to pull that shit off.
Fucking self-congratulatory bullshit to open the season. Well, it's not the second episode, so go fuck yourself. Well, you missed the last episode. Go fuck yourself.
So if you're listening to this, stop it, pause it, go to YouTube, watch, because this is an actual video podcast this time. Second segment, we have a very special guest. I'm not going to give it away right now, but you'll want to watch. You'll want to watch. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
All I can say is Terminator, Judgment Day. They will be responsible.
Yeah, Skynet will come back because of them. All right. So, real quick, just recap what's left of the preseason news. Two things. I'm pretty sure I'm still going to fuck his name up for a while. Laquinas.
We'll wait till Kanji pronounces it, and then we'll know.
Yeah. Which, come back to that in a second. He is permanently signed as a designated player. So not only did we actually go buy somebody, we bought a designated player. Whether that's actually worth anything, we'll find out. Tom Edwards is now back for 2022 on loan. Yeah, I think might be hurt, though. So I saw something on, I think, Reddit where somebody mentioned a possible foot injury.
Ugh, still. Okay, that sucks.
Yeah. And he just got signed, so he's not even going to be there for the San Jose match anyway, so.
I mean, he still at some point should shore up our right back position. So, and he was very good last year. So,
true.
I don't hate the signing.
No, it's not a bad signing. I wish it was permanent, but it's not a bad signing right now. Preseason matches. Guess what? We suck.
Go figure.
6-1 loss to LAFC being the cornerstone of the preseason.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just practicing. Don't worry, they're just practicing.
So do we even need to
practice?
Do we even need to talk any bit?
Practice.
Coming up with the Allen Iverson quote. Nice. Do we even need to talk about the rest of the pre? I mean, it's nothing really happened this last episode.
Yeah.
Well, Truman hasn't been on, so he takes the floor.
True. He should give us your opinions.
Wow, what exciting preseason action that I definitely didn't watch and only read on Twitter. What barn-burning action we saw in those games that they played. I don't really care. I don't really give two shits about preseason games. It means nothing, as it always does, because I think we know how this season is going to
go. So I don't have it in there. We have to do this. Our season predictions, that's a good point to jump into it. So, Truman, what's your prediction for the season?
Now, I'm going to be honest here. I think they're going to be a little better than meh that I predicted last year. What I'm hoping, and totally being honest here, what I'm really hoping out of this team is that the young kids have meshed last year. What you want to see in a team like this. So we talked about it last year, right? What did we say? We're like, hey, they have a bunch of young players. If they were going to stick together, and you'd hope they get improved and get better the next year, because we were really worried that they would all just get dispersed to different Red Bull teams in Brazil and Germany and wherever else they have teams, right? Japan, who the hell knows? They have 48 teams at this point. F1 racing, I think a couple of the players are going to go too.
Yeah, they're the pit crew now in F1.
Yeah, but I think with Caden Clark coming back, which is really I think because of how we finished last season. We're not going to talk about that though. I'd honestly like to see if the team can gel more. We knock on wood have a very good goalkeeper who we smashed early in the year and definitely got way better. Defense is good. I think they could be better than last year. Now that might be one more place in the standings, maybe two more places in the standings, and probably another heartbreaking first round exit. Maybe a second round appearance. Are they a championship team? No. We all know they're not. They're not close yet. But if we can continue on this path, which three of us know is not going to happen, but I'm just being hopeful of building this core, plugging in good players, and just building it further and further, then I definitely see them being better than last year. I really honestly think they could be a fifth place team. If I'm being hopeful, I don't think fifth place is a terrible place to be for this team from last year. I think for me personally, that's the attainable spot.
I mean, that's a home playoff match. So
yeah.
Pat, what are your thoughts?
So, I mean, I agree. I think they by and large kept the core that kept this team that managed to make the playoffs last year intact. So, and you got Tom Edwards back, which is great. You lose Kyle Duncan, that sucks. You get Aaron Long back, that's good. I still am extremely worried about this offense. I mean, Klimala is not a proven commodity. Laquinas has come from Poland. I mean, really? I mean, what do we really expect out of guys out of the Polish division? I mean, yes, I guess you can look at his FIFA ranking, which isn't bad, and maybe he'll do something. I mean, I'm not predicting to be terrible, but designated player status, I mean, it's the same way I feel about Kamal. Our two designated players are not game changers, and that's what they need to be. And I would argue we have the core in place. Why not get a third designated player? And why not make them all guys who are pretty much guaranteed to make a difference on this team? I mean, I don't really believe we really need to build anything more. I think the time now to strike, the time to strike is now. And we're just not doing it. I mean, so I think considering this team has not missed the playoffs since 2009, at this point, you shouldn't bet against them, and because I think mediocrity gets you into the playoffs. That I think they will, but I'm not as optimistic as Truman. I'd say seventh place. I think they squeak right in. I think there's going to be some growing pains at the beginning of the season, like there always is, even in the seasons when we were good. And unfortunately, unlike those seasons when we were good, I don't think they have the firepower to make it up to get to a much larger position. So I'm going to have to say seventh place and just backsliding into the playoffs with this team.
Yeah. Realistically, I would say if this is year 2, we should improve. So it should be at least 6th place and win a playoff game. I don't think it's going to happen because we know how this team is. The Red Bulls in general are with playoffs. We suck. So doesn't matter which format the MLS uses to give us success. We just can't do anything with it. I think 6th or 7th place, maybe being like 2 points away from missing out on the playoffs, is realistic. Apparently, all the MLS writers again said we're not going to make it like they did last year. What they do, nobody knows what the fuck's going to happen anyway. My bigger concern is the fact that Gerhard Struber came out in an article on MLSsoccer.com and basically tried to downplay the forecast for the season. He said, and I quote, "I think I'm a realistic man. I'm not a dreamer. I know when everything goes in the right direction, when we make the right progress next 2 weeks, then I think we'll be an interesting team. But this needs time right now. We are very, very young without many experienced players. This is the situation. I have to manage that. I have big trust in my players that we progress the next few weeks, but this needs time." Well, guess what? You had a whole fucking offseason to fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get wanting to downplay expectations, but you had a whole year under your belt, 2 off seasons at this point to make this team the way you want it to be, right? The GM, head football, whatever his fucking title is, Kevin Thewell has been here for, this is, I think, his 3rd off season now, right? Like, building blocks, or the ability has been there, right? You had your chances. This should be year 2 stepping up and improving the team. If you're coming in as the head coach and saying, I don't think we're going to be well the first few weeks of the season and that we don't have the players we need.
By the way, that GM is the same one who shipped off a Brian White, who then went on to score a bunch of goals for Vancouver Whitecaps. And he's not old, so I don't exactly know why he was shipped off. So we get Patrick Klimala, who scores a lot of penalty kicks, you know. But
speaking of, I got his new jersey because I was thinking, who the fuck's jersey do I get this year? I don't know. Let's just get that penalty kick scoring machine jersey. But guys, I gotta say, they're gonna look fucking like amazing in these kits. These fucking jerseys, you can't even see how nice they are. I'm not even fucking around. These are really, really nice jerseys this year. So at least if they're gonna play mediocre soccer, they'll look fucking great doing it. That's all I'm saying. They are gonna look fucking sharp. I mean, this might be one of my like top 2 favorite Red Bulls jerseys.
And in 2023, you're gonna put that one in the closet of regret with the RZA jersey.
Well, yeah, duh. I mean, it's gonna next year. It's gonna go right next to the Daniel Jones jersey, retired.
Yeah,
go right next to my Sam Darnold jersey.
I have one of those.
Here's my bold prediction: Patrick Klimala breaks the goal scoring record with nothing but penalty kicks.
That would be incredible.
Over under 10. Kamala, does he do it? Does he break 10? Does he get double digits this year?
10 goals?
Just in penalty kicks or in goals total?
Goal. I'm being serious here. Like goals scored.
Under.
What was he at last year? Like 9? 8?
It wasn't 10.
No, it wasn't 10.
Someone's got to get him the
close,
ball.
right?
If someone can find him the ball consistently, he scores over 10. I don't think that's going to happen right now.
Yeah. I mean, you say this Morgan kid is good. I mean, he was Inter Miami, and it's hard for me to believe anything good came out of Inter Miami. But they say
only good went to Inter Miami, and that was Robles.
Yeah.
He went there, but that was it.
I'd say more likely not. He's under 10 this year.
But if that happens, I don't see how. If our primary goal scorer is not scoring double digits, then I don't see how we make the playoffs.
Because the Red Bulls.
I don't see how we get better than 7th, I should say.
But that's just they just score from a bunch of different guys that get like 3 goals. Everyone gets like 3 goals. That's pretty much what happens.
We'll average like 1.1 goals a game, just enough to sneak in.
But hopefully the defense will play good enough, right? Hey, you guys predicted 7th place, which I think is better than what you predicted last year. So we're all thinking more positive than last year, right? We've all predicted a couple spots up, I feel.
Well, here's the thing. I get it wrong every year. So the fact of the matter is they probably won't make the playoffs because I'm predicting they will make the playoffs this year.
Optimism.
I'm always wrong.
Going to get them in.
They go on a winning streak. I start to believe, predict wins. They start losing. Then I'm like, fuck this. I keep going that. Then they start winning again, and then I don't get the belt.
That's right. That's why. That's why this always stays here.
It just sucks that the measure of success for this team is, did I make the playoffs?
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be a New York fan of a team whose measure of success is just squeaking into the playoffs.
Which that should be a basic requirement every year.
Yeah. Well, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
When half the league makes the playoffs, it should be a minimum requirement to make the playoffs.
The extreme basic. I mean, I feel like. I mean, I hate to be the New York fan, but like, let's face it, the expectation is championships, and our front office and ownership has no interest in that. Yeah. I really don't understand why any of us are still doing this show, and why any of us still go to these games. And I'm gonna watch on Saturday, and I'm not saying that. I'm gonna fucking watch this shitty ass team on Saturday, and I hope I eat my words at the end of the season, which is what I said. I think the last 4 or 5 seasons on this show.
Yep, it would be great.
I eat my words,
right? Because that you'd be happy.
Yeah,
It's fucking embarrassing!
That has been a staple on this show for the last 5 fucking years, that soundbite. Why?
That's not shit.
So, do we want to do dumping grounds or just say fuck it and move on?
I mean,
we have
real quick.
I'll say this: we have a very big interview.
We do.
A big interview in the next segment.
All right, so
I'll just quickly, because it's about a month out, but U.S. National Team qualifiers coming up. However, I just want to run through that Weston McKennie is out for the next 10 to 12 weeks with a foot injury, so he will not be available for the next qualifiers. That hurts, and these are somewhat crucial games. I mean, if you get 3 points out of them, U.S. should be fine, but this is not something you want to hear. And Gio Reyna also went down with an injury. However, apparently is less serious, 2 weeks. But you could see Dortmund saying, please don't call him up. But I mean, I think when this crucial phase, Berhalter has said, no, we need him. So fingers crossed that it won't be an issue. But I think those are the two things that are real quick to run down and dumping ground.
Okay. So we would do Pat's betting corner, but I'm guessing first week of the year you're not ready for it.
Well, I would say hold on.
Hold on. If you're gonna do it, we gotta do it right.
I did lay a bet down because I just figured. Let's face it. Even though Bob Bradley didn't have a great year with LFC, I have faith in him. So he right now, I put the money on him for Toronto FC to beat FC Dallas outright, even though Toronto's on the road, because it's a plus 280. So you can win some money there if you lay some money down. Because I mean Dallas, come on. I mean I think they made some moves, but I have no faith in Dallas. So I have faith in Bob Bradley.
Sorry, something real quick for dumping ground, because I don't think Pat and I talked about this. Nomad FC has a new home, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this. I believe it's this week. New York City FC is playing at the whatever they call it, LA Galaxy's stadium, because their matchup this weekend is at LAFC. So they are now playing a home CCL match in LA.
MLS Cup champs, everybody.
Yeah.
And why we're not embarrassed by that, I have no idea. Because I know there's a segment of the fan base who's like, I'm not embarrassed at all. Our team tries every year. No, we don't. And we have a real stadium.
It's not like Yankee Stadium is busy right now.
Right.
It's not like it's going to be busy for a while.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're good.
We're good for this segment.
Good.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have a very, very special interview. Yes, big interview.
Huge.
So stay with us, and we'll be back right after this. All right, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to welcome on two fans of the New York Red Bulls. Hopefully you guys have heard of them. We have Adam and Eric Wrigley, and now their claim to fame is that they are the captain and coach of Bots FC. And hopefully you know the name. It's from Battle Bots, and they have a great bot called Shatter, who, as far as I know, won the first match. I haven't watched the second one yet.
I'll catch you up, Jay. I'll catch you up.
I haven't. I have the link on the website. I plan to watch it after we're done with this. So, Adam, Eric, welcome to the show.
Thanks. So we can't spoil our second fight now.
I know. I was going to too. I'll mention. I will mention the opponent was Blacksmith was the second fight.
Now you guys can talk about it. It's fine. I'll watch it anyway.
Well, it's important because Blacksmith is a New Jersey robot, so it was a New York, New Jersey like rivalry matchup. So it was a big fight.
That was just like a prize fight in terms of Autobots, is what we're saying.
So honor was on the line.
So it's funny, this whole thing kind of got started because I messaged you guys a while back about, because you guys have scarves and jerseys, which I thought was really cool. And you guys mentioned that you were Red Bulls fans. Now here you are wearing the Red Bulls swag. I think we all swag on except for Jay, but Jay's got his stuff in the background.
Yep.
Real quick, you guys just hit you with the team. How long you been fans?
I mean, so I liked. I grew up in New Jersey. We both grew up in New Jersey, and so fans back when they were the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars. And then after college, I moved back down. I was staying in New Jersey, commuting to New York when they were building the new stadium. I said, that looks cool. And the only way to get tickets to the opening game was to buy season tickets at the time, and that would guarantee you tickets to the opening game. And I was like, they're pretty cheap. So I bought 2 season tickets, and then Eric and I had just went to every game for like 6 years or something after they opened the stadium. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's cool that you're not just like, yeah, we went to 3 games once. It's pretty cool. We saw Terry Henry one time.
No, we went to a bunch.
we were in 101.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
We were there for a while.
So real quick with us, I'm the only guy who's been there since the Metro Stars years. I was a 101 Giant Stadium guy. And then Jay and Pat came in. Red Bull Arena era, right, guys?
Yep. Yeah, it was similar story. I saw the stadium and I was like, that looks kind of interesting. Let me check that out when that opens up. So, yeah.
Yeah, and me was a friend of mine from work brought me to the game. It was the the last game before the World Cup break in 2020 with Juan Pablo Angel hits that 93rd minute winner against Houston.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, so that sold it for me.
So
yeah, it was cool. It was how we became like really good friends. I mean, we're brothers, but it was right after I graduated college. He was still in college, and we were going to all these games, and I don't know. It was how we got way closer. And then when we started the robot team, we figured we would use our love of soccer as the theme for the team when we recreated the robot team. And then that's how Bots FC came about, and why it's soccer themed was because we went to all these Red Bull games. And, yeah,
it's so awesome. So let's talk. We're going to talk about the history of the show, but more with you guys. What spawned the idea of let's get together and build a 250-pound robot to destroy things?
We just have money to burn, apparently.
She said we have way too much money, and we need to have way less money. It was similar to. It was kind of similar, like in that I used to like the Metro Stars when I was younger, and then I saw the stadium, and I was like, "Oh right, I like soccer." And then we got back into it. It was similar with robots. I used to love the show when it was on Comedy Central. I was obsessed with it. And then by the time I was old enough to make them, it wasn't really on TV anymore at all. It just wasn't. It was canceled. So I went to a couple competitions of smaller weight classes that like weren't on TV back in 2008. And then went through life, like started going to a lot of soccer games, and I don't know. I just wasn't built. I didn't build any robots after 2008. Then the show came back on the air in, I want to say 2015, and we said, "Oh right, we like that," and now it's on TV. We should do that. I think we could beat these guys, and so that was kind of it. We got reminded of it when we saw it again and said, "Oh yeah, well, let's do that. I think we could do that."
So, what's each of your background in robotics? Obviously, you just don't. I just can't go into my garage and build something like that.
Yeah, we collectively on this show have built 0 robots.
No, I'm sorry. Technically, I built some.
Oh, fucking Jay.
Hey, my computer science major with a quasi specialization in artificial intelligence had to count for something. Now, granted, it's only a Lego robot, but I still count.
I'm sure you guys understood whatever the hell he just said.
It sounds pretty good. I went to college for mechanical engineering, so I have a BS in mechanical engineering. There's a lot of electronic stuff inside, and that wasn't anything we really learned in class that had anything to do with the electronics that are in there. That was just all stuff we learned getting into the hobby, talking to people online, reading blogs, that kind of stuff. And a lot of even the mechanical engineering it's in the robots is all over the place. It's a lot of it's again not even a lot of stuff you learn in school. The use cases are crazy. It's really weird. So most of the people, it's maybe like half engineers and half not. So I think you guys could build one if you wanted to. You just go to events, go online. If you've ever played around with RC cars, you figure it out. But Eric's not an engineer.
Yeah. No, I'm not an engineer. I went to school for accounting, so I'm literally the one that throws the money away in this event. So
how many times do you say they're just crying into the checkbook, looking at all the red? That's they just.
Oh, it's just brutal. The credit card bills, just max them out.
Yeah, you definitely had a few of those seasons where we're like, wait, whose credit card isn't maxed out and can buy this part?
But back in the day, Adam made a lot of money selling those Arsenal tickets that year. Arsenal came.
Oh, yeah.
So,
there we go.
So we made some money from the Red Bulls.
that friendly money is some good stuff right there.
Oh, it was so good.
I think we bought like a ton of extra tickets and resold them, but then kept our original seats and went to the game, and it was great.
We paid for like every season's tickets that we had.
Yeah. It's so funny because for years that's how like everyone, especially like if you're in the supporter sections, because your tickets were so cheap anyway. And so many people were like, yeah, that's how I'm going to pay off for next year. One game. Oh, we're playing Chelsea? Great. Here, I'll sell it to some idiot for $600 because I'll definitely buy it. Like, not even a question. They will buy my dumb ticket for $600. And I'm like, who cares? I don't care about seeing it friendly. That's everyone's mentality. And they're like, it's not a real game. No one really cares.
Yeah.
Do you guys have sponsors at all?
We do. Eric, you want to stand up and show off some of our sponsors?
Let's see. I got a Prismere, TMS, Max Amps. Those are the big three, and our personal company that doesn't really sell anything on the backs, Coos Watches.
Maybe one day I'll get around to making that.
Yeah, I figured if I was going to spend all this money on the pot, we should at least have our own like fake company sponsoring the team. They've never caught on to it. No fan has ever asked either. So.
Yeah, but
that big money sponsor right here, right? That's the $1 million sponsors right there.
Yeah.
So Prismere's are our top sponsor. They make all our aluminum parts, which for the robot is a lot of it. The frame of the robot is it's hard to tell in the picture like how big this robot is, but the frame alone is I think it's 2.5 feet long, about 2 feet wide. And it's about 3 inches thick. It's a solid block of aluminum, and almost 90% of it is cut away when they make it. So it's like a kind of a hollow pocket that we then fit everything in. So they make us 2 of those a year, plus all the other bits that bolt onto it. I mean, it's hundreds of pounds of aluminum parts that they make for us every year. So they're an awesome machine shop, just general like production supply vendor. TMS Titanium supplies our titanium, and then Max Amps our batteries. But yeah, we love them. We love them all. Our sponsors are great.
It's funny, you mentioned size, and I think when you watch the show, if you're not a long time like fan, so say if Pat watched it for the first time, it's hard to comprehend how big these bots are. You really don't realize it until you see you guys like rolling them out onto the main floor. It's like, how can you just? What's a good way to describe the size of these things?
Adam has some of the parts, so he can show you some of the
things. Here. So first off, if you look in the picture in behind me, right, and you see how we've got this sort of like blade axe thing, that's 4 feet long.
Oh my God!
Wow.
So we have a shorter arm that we usually run that has a hammerhead at the end. This one doesn't have it attached, but it's kind of coming in and out of the picture. But you can see like how long this.
Oh my God!
It's a 3 feet end to end, so it's like it's longer than a sledgehammer would be, right? The arm alone, just the arm part and the hub weighs like 12 pounds, and then we put like a 10 or 12 pound sledge at the end when we run this. So, picture like the strongest person swinging a sledgehammer, and this is 10 times stronger than that. So, and our weapon's power is on the weak end, like it's really weak compared to the spinner robots. But we target weaker areas, right? We hit people on the top where they're less strong. So, but it's huge, right? It's huge and crazy forces. This arm is made of 1/2-inch thick titanium. So this is just a plate of grade 5 titanium. The materials are nuts. The size is nuts. The speed is nuts. It's the weapon will fire. It takes, when we have a nice looking fire, between 1/4 and 1/3 of a second for the full swing, end to end. And there's so much power in it that the 250-pound robot hops in the air.
Even
like
with
foot.
magnets.
Even with magnets holding it down with an extra like few hundred pounds of force, it's still like lifting it, popping it off. So yeah, it's just nuts. Like when you watch the show and they're flying all over like rag dolls that fly like 5-10 feet in the air. I mean, just imagine like the amount of force it takes to toss something 250 pounds like 10 feet in the air, like immediately, and then it comes back down and bounces and keeps running. And you think about like what happens if you were to take like a car and drop it 10 feet. Not gonna, it's especially if you drop it upside down, right? So it's pretty nuts, and it's pretty insane. And I would recommend anyone get out and watch an event. If you can't make it out to Las Vegas for BattleBots, which hopefully should be filming another season later this year, there's an event in Norwalk called NHRL. Smaller robots, like 30 pounds and 3 pounds, but even that is tons of fun to watch the 30-pounders go at it. It's a lot of energy, and then you can imagine in your head what the 250s are like after seeing the 30s. But yeah.
Can you tell everyone about something called the Mary Special?
So that's the blade that's on it in the photo behind me. This piece. That's the 4 foot long. It's like a serrated 4 foot long sword that we used in the fight versus Blacksmith, which we made because my girlfriend Mary she didn't like this hammer arm because sometimes the hammerhead will come off in a fight. It's bad when that happens, and then we're just whacking people with this blunt piece of titanium, right? And it's like, okay, that hurts. That would kill a person, but it doesn't kill a 250-pound robot. So she said, why doesn't the arm have spikes on it? I'm like, well, titanium with spikes doesn't really do much. It's too soft, right? You need steel. And then we said, well, steel's too heavy, because if we made a steel arm, we wouldn't be able to put a hammer at the end. And then we said, oh, well, if the arm is spiky, we don't need a hammer at the end. So we just made this giant 4 foot long sword. And then we named it after her because she inspired it. And it was just tons of fun. I wish I had it, but it's somewhat damaged and in a crate at work because I can't store it all in my apartment. It's too small, but it's hilarious. It's so big. When we first got it in the mail, it was like poking out the end of the box, just this like giant sword made out of 1/2-inch hardened steel. It was hilarious. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on the sword, Eric, but I really liked it.
So actually, that was going to go with that. So Eric, on the website, you're listed as the primary weapons operator, right? So you're the guy responsible for swinging that thing during the battles. Yeah. So how does it feel to be in control of that thing and just absolutely destroy another robot with it?
I mean, you guys saw the first fight. That's how fun it is. People don't understand. I try and explain it. I'm like, it's so fun. Like when you're just whacking away and you hit the batteries and the bot lit up and I just go absolutely insane. It's just so good. And it was amazing. And it's kind of difficult to control it. A lot of people are not good at it because the way we have it set up is on the backswing. You just have to like barely touch it for it to go back and not go extremely hard back. And I mean, half the time I mess up, but it's just, I just go for it.
It takes a surprising amount of finesse to fire the hammer.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, it's hitting so much harder this year, and we haven't made any upgrades at this point. It's just me just holding it longer or something.
I think what we'll do, if anyone who hasn't watched the fight, when we post the link on Twitter, we'll make sure we attach that first fight on there too, because you can really, I mean, you see it at work in that first fight against Sub-Zero. It is something to behold.
Oh,
I wish they used the real sound because they kind of dub over the sounds. The real sound is if you go to the event, and like the event's in this big open kind of room, and the echoes that you get when the hammer misses and hits the steel floor of the arena, and you just hear this bang and it like echoes through the like big room that it's in, is just like the coolest sound. It's just like stomped to the extreme, and it's just not you just can't get the same sense watching on TV. So I recommend everyone go to the events just to listen to it. It's cool. But yeah, watch the video too because it's fun.
I think we woke up all of Las Vegas when we were testing at like midnight a few nights. We just fired it like 20 times, and it's just like ding, like extremely loud.
Oh yeah, because we had to test fire it at one point to make sure that we had the reliability down. So we fired it like 50, 60 times in 2 minutes to make sure it didn't overheat or anything else. And every time we fired it, it was like a gunshot going off. Like everyone was coming out of the pits. They're like, "What's all this noise?" It's like we're hitting this piece of steel. It's like a bell. It's like, like it was pretty crazy. We have a habit for always making a ton more noise than anyone else whenever we test any of our robots.
It's certainly very intimidating for the other teams, I think.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to mention, the two other things that's very unique about the bot is, so we were watching the second fight, my wife and I said, "Now don't worry when those little pieces fly off. That's going to happen. That is just a normal thing." So talk a little bit about that, and then that the way that thing drives is very unique as well.
Yeah, the little things that come off. So when we started like transitioning to battle bots, we'd been building heavyweights for a while. We went to a couple untelevised events, one in Florida called Maker Faire, which is called Robot Ruckus now. We used to go to one in California called Robo Games. I don't think they don't do it anymore. And we'd gone to China for a couple events, King of Bots and This Is Fighting Robots. So we appeared on some Chinese television shows. It was nuts. I had tens of thousands of followers on like Chinese Twitter. Anyway. That's a whole different story. But we had to come up with a theme for BattleBots. So up until that time, our theme was it's a hammer robot. That was the theme. But when you sign up for BattleBots, it's got to have a little more to it, right? It's got to have its own aesthetic. And we came up with this idea of like, well, like what do hammers do? We started thinking about earthquakes. And then we said, well, maybe like a mirror might fall in an earthquake. And we're like, yeah, you can shatter mirrors. Shattering mirrors is hammer-esque. So we wanted to name it Shatter, and we wanted to make it look like a shattered mirror. And that's kind of the whole vibe of the robot design, is like this shattered piece of glass or something just turned into an amorphous blob of a robot. And the other reason we liked it is because the robot itself, one of the design features is what we call ablative armor. So we really wanted to make this armor that instead of deflecting people, like really heavy steel armor, it would tear away and slow down their weapons. So when you hit something hard, there's a big impact. If you hit something soft, something absorbs it. So our armor would be soft and tear away, similar to an ablative heat shield when spaceships coming in. The heat shield tears away, and that protects the underlying space capsule. As long as the heat shield's thick enough, you're good to go. Then you replace it every few times or whatever. So it's the same thing with our armor. As long as the armor's thick enough, they can tear at it, but the fight's only 3 minutes long. So as long as we have enough, they can't get through. And it's so soft, they can't get a good bite on us. They can't toss us as easily. They can't give us as much shock. So even when we do go flying a similar amount, they've applied the force over a longer period of time. So the G loads are shorter. The spinners overheat when they do it too much because it's like applying so much force. So anyway, the ablative armor was just, it went with our theme. And it was just something we had been testing out at smaller weight classes, and we really wanted to go all the way with it. Then we covered it in triangles because when the plastic gets torn up, it's really ugly. And judges don't like that. And when you come into the fight at the beginning, the robot's supposed to look brand new. But the plastic armor, even when it's just a little bit damaged, looks really bad. So we cover it with shiny plastic triangles so that it looks nice and new when we bring it into the arena. Those shiny plastic triangles are just decorative. They're effectively paint. But instead of using paint, we just use these really thin, shiny plastic triangles. So it looks really cool, and then they go flying off. That basically they just cover up all the damage and make the robot look cool and nice and new when we start. But the shiny triangles, they don't do anything other than look cool. But the plastic underneath is the ablative armor that tears away. And then the just all went to the theme of shattering, so the robot shatters. And, yeah, that might be a longer answer than you want.
That's okay.
We have
That's totally
the
all right.
wheels too, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, wheels. That's shorter. I love these wheels. They're cool. They're called Mecanum wheels. They let us drive sideways. I might have one. Let's see.
He's got a lot of parts in his basement.
I'm totally okay with that. I'm very excited about this.
So this is one of our wheels. This is called a Mecanum wheel. Sometimes we call them Mecanum Omni wheels. They let us drive omnidirectionally. We can drive sideways. So there's all these rollers. These are just like free spinning rollers on here. But when we move, we have 4 of them. When we move them in different ways, it pulls us sideways like a screw, basically. So why do we do this? Well, driving sideways is really cool. They do kind of limit our pushing force a little bit, which is why we have magnets to hold us down. That gets the pushing force back. But the big thing was a lot of people online said we couldn't do it. They're like, that's a dumb idea. You'll never be successful if you use those wheels. Like only a moron would make a robot with wheels like that. That's the dumbest idea ever. And I said, screw you guys. I'm gonna make it and it's gonna be good. So I just thought they were cool and I wanted to prove some people wrong on the internet. That's basically the story. That's kind of the story of the whole robot. People said the plastic armor wouldn't work. People said a hammer wouldn't work. People said the wheels wouldn't work. And the motors that we used, those weren't going to work, obviously. And I just said, I think it'll work.
Don't worry, you can curse on the show.
Yeah, that's all good.
Well, what's better than proving people on the internet wrong? I mean,
Exactly.
that's what we go for.
That's like our team motto.
Yeah.
So I got a question. I mean, assuming you start at the bottom, so I assume maybe there was a lost match somewhere along. What's your reaction when a robot you put so much work into gets destroyed? I mean, like what is the reaction to that?
We've lost a few fights. We've had a few fights that have been like 5 digits of damage done, which is depressing. To have that much in like less than 2 minutes, just
yeah. It varies from sad to very angry. The reaction for me.
It's weird because it's the point of the game, right? You go out there, you're kind of trying to do that to the opponent. We like to win without causing a ton of monetary damage. We kind of feel bad when we cause too much monetary damage. Like I like when we can just hit a belt and then the robot doesn't work anymore because the motor's spinning and it's not connected. Like that's kind of what it's designed to do, is just take out the weak points, and then win the fight because of the way the judging rules and such are. So it's not really designed to cause someone to completely explode, although it sometimes happens if we hit a battery. We've burst a few robots actually into flames. But not totally on purpose. But anyway, how does it feel when it happens to us? It sucks. I don't know. Nobody likes it. When you have a really good fight, sometimes you'll have a really great fight and you lost, and you're like, man, we lost a lot of money, but that looked so cool. You know, so that's when it's good. If you lose really bad and it didn't even look cool, that's when I get upset. But usually when we lose, it still looks cool. So I'm at least okay with that. Like I'll get a cool photo out of it or a GIF or something, you know. Like, and it might be it's a $10,000 GIF, you know. But maybe I can sell them as an NFT or something.
I was about to say, you just start selling the NFTs, bring the money in.
All right, I have a couple more questions about BattleBots. Then we'll talk some Red Bull soccer. I could talk about this for another hour, honestly. Maybe halfway through the season we'll start doing it again.
I think Truman just announced
Shane
the
knows
Bots
I'm a
FC
huge fan of the show.
podcast.
Yeah, I could definitely do it. I love BattleBots so much. Just a couple more questions. How much time do you guys get between fights?
So at BattleBots, you tend to get at least a day, at least 24 hours, unless it's the finals, like the final fight. Then you might have less than a day, but usually they try to give you at least a day. Now it might not be a full 24 hours as you get later in the tournament, but usually at least a day. Earlier in the tournament, it might be 2 days or even 3 between fights. So BattleBots has a lot going on. There's 60 something robots and there's only one arena. And with all the intros and outros and interviews and cleaning and such, it can take a while to put a fight on. So you have a lot of time to repair at BattleBots, which is great. Now, if you go to Robo Games, you go to NHRL, you go to Florida, you could fight 6 times a day. And you might only have 20 minutes from one fight to a next. So when we go to BattleBots, it's luxurious for us because we're used to fighting 6 times a day.
we had a day at the NHRL, the Norwalk one, where we had 2 fights in 20 minutes at 1 a.m. in the morning after we were there for 15 hours. And you can imagine that we were not thinking very clearly at that point. So
we woke up the next day. We lost both the fights like horribly. And we woke up the next day and we're like, if we had done blank, it was some really simple thing, we probably would have won those fights.
Yeah. I just could not think clearly at all.
Yeah.
All right. So my last question about BattleBots, and then we're going to talk Red Bulls. Can you just talk about Farouk and how cool he is, how cool his intros are? Do you think he'll do an intro for our podcast? And how do I hang out with that guy?
Well, he's on Cameo, so I think he would do an intro for you.
Done.
Money
well spent.
We didn't really hang out with him much, though.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's so cool. He doesn't talk to us.
He tries really hard to keep his voice at top shape. He is like a voice actor, and he was on a few TV shows, and so he tries not to talk too much when the fights aren't going on, and he's really professional about it. His job. He really likes it. He's a great guy, though.
I think that's what makes it's what makes part of the show too, right? Like the presentation, obviously, especially with BattleBots, especially this year, you guys had the fans back, which I think was awesome. I think 2 seasons ago, you had the other teams in the building, which was cool, but having the fans makes such a difference. But having the announcers, the bot whisper, it's really cool to have a really great group of people. And I think Farouk makes it. Kenny Florian's great. Like his commentary is fantastic. So it makes a really cool presentation.
Yeah, having the fans back was great. It was weird last year. There were people in the stands, was like other builders, and it was very sparse. And so having all the fans back was great. It's weird for us because we're regular guys. No one. I've been recognized once out in public, not at a robot event. But when I go to a robot event, when I go to BattleBots, people want my autograph, and I'm like, it's weird. It's cool. I'll sign anyone's anything. I love it, but it's just we're celebrities when we go to these places. Then we go home and nobody knows who we are. It's great.
It's crazy. The other day I commented on Reddit something, and they're like, "Wait a minute, you're the guy on the team? You come here?" I'm like, "Yes." I used to just be a regular fan, and then I got on the show.
Yeah.
It sounds like Thierry. I was gonna say, it sounds like Thierry Henry when he came to New York. And he's like, man, I like being in New York because not a lot of people know me, so I can just be a regular guy around here.
I'm on a subway and no one cares.
All right, so this is our season preview show. So, Adam, Eric, what do you think was, knock on wood, the best move so far in the off season?
I think the guy we got from the Florida team. I'm blanking on his name. Morgan, is that his last name?
Lewis or Morgan? I can't remember which order it's in.
Morgan, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the better guy. I don't know about the Brazilian dude from wherever the hell we got him from.
We never do with Brazilian players.
Yeah, we got a Brazilian guy from Poland.
Maybe he's something, but hopefully Morgan can do something in the midfield.
I always felt like we tried to get an unknown South American player all the time, and then it would never pan out. But we kept trying. Maybe one day.
I'll tell you guys a funny story where I work. I work at a car dealership, so we have the guys who do all the reconditioning on the vehicles, and they're all, from Brazil and everything. And the one guy, I said, we signed this player. Can you tell me anything about him? And he just looks at the phone. I show him the picture. He's like, Is it good? I said, I don't know. Can you tell me? He goes, I don't know him. I'm like, oh, we're in trouble. This guy is knee deep in Brazilian soccer. He has no idea who this guy is.
Yeah, I think our scouts reaction are like, we found a Brazilian guy. He plays in 3rd division in Ivory Coast. Should we sign him? Like, get him on this team now. We need him. That's
You forgot the qualifier of one name, though, right? If it's a 2-name player, then no, we can't sign him.
Yeah.
When we signed like Andreas Ivan from like the 4th tier of Germany, and everyone was like, "Oh boy, we got him!" And I'm like, "Who is he? Did he ever score even a goal?" I don't think so. Maybe one. I don't know.
I was excited last year when we got Fabio. I was very.
Oh yeah,
excited.
he had the great name,
Yeah. Right?
It was a good name.
And,
But we didn't get a good enough of a run of it, though.
Yeah,
great name, shitty player.
You think anyone in soccer changes their name so that they become a more appealing soccer player? You know, like people always have stage names in acting because they're like, well, this name will be more appealing. It'll sound more famous. Do soccer players do that? Like was Fabio his real name, or was he like, this is the name for a soccer player?
I think when he picked that name, he's like, I heard of this guy. He's super cool. He's like on the cover of books. They're like, yeah, but he got hit in the face by a bird on a roller coaster. He's like, I don't care. I want to be that guy. Like, that's my guy.
That was my Halloween costume a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he let his hair down. He's got the. It's great.
It was deep cut. Yeah, I bloodied my face. I embroidered the was it Mott's Bear? Whatever weird roller coaster place he was at. I embroidered the logo of that park on a blue shirt. It looked exactly like him. I had my hair down. And I was at a party with a bunch of young people, and not many people got that right.
Oh, that is amazing. Sorry. So last year the Red Bull.
Oh, my girlfriend Mary was the goose.
Oh my God! I thought she was going to be the girl sitting next to Fabio with like the shocked face. I thought that was the way to go.
He was the goose.
That is incredible. All right, so last season with the Red Bulls, right? They did as I predicted, and that's why I have this prediction title belt right here, guys. Just so you guys know, that's why I have this on my shoulder. I like to rub it into my co-hosts. They did what I thought they were going to do, and that was kind of just make the playoffs. Just get in. This year, they're coming back with a lot of returning players, young talent. I mean, most of the kids are young, but Caden Clark is coming back. For you guys, like realistic thoughts about what you think their season's going to look like this year.
I'm hoping they actually shoot the ball on net. They do a lot of that in that playoff game, that's for sure. It's so tough with them. You know, on paper they got some good players. But do they transition into this team well? Like, does that Lucanius guy actually have a good year? Or does he just turn into the next, Digao or whoever that guy we got that was Kaku's brother? Who's the guy we got? Digao, remember him? He was the defender. He was somebody's brother.
He was
Kaká's brother.
Kaká's brother.
Oh, yeah. He, played, one game or something.
I don't even remember him, honestly.
No one does. Don't worry.
Exactly. I only remember the real bad players. So.
There was a lot
the Sal Zizos of the world and all that. I'm hoping he does well, but I looked at his numbers and I'm like, I don't know what to expect here. So, if the defense is good and somebody figures out a way to score some goals, then I think, it would be great to finish in the top 4, but realistically, I mean, I hope they make the playoffs, but I wouldn't even bet on it, honestly. I wouldn't bet on it.
You're in the Pat McDonald world right here as he nods yes. That is the world you're living in right now.
I mean, what has this team done to prove they're going to be any good? Nothing. It's like, this guy might work out. I don't know.
Did they just lose 6-1 in preseason?
Yeah.
Or something great. I think my prediction is going to be more vague. I think they have a good shot at making the playoffs, and I'll tell you why. Because whatever the Red Bulls do, it's going to be heartbreaking. And I think that the more heartbreaking thing for them to do is to make the playoffs and then lose in an even more ridiculous way than last year, because that would be the most Metro possible ending. So I could see a Cinderella run that where they're actually winning going into the 90th minute of like the Eastern Conference final, or maybe the final of the whole thing. And then they let up a goal and then let up an immediate goal in extra time and then don't even make it to overtime because they end up losing. That's the type of ending I'm expecting. I don't know exactly where that's going to happen. Maybe it'll even be the last game of the season where they're on the brink of the playoffs or something. But there's going to be a crazy, ridiculous turn of events in the last game that goes from you thinking they're going to win, oh my God, to just terribly heartbreaking loss. That's my prediction for the season. And I don't want to make that prediction. I really want them to do well, but I know they're just going to break my heart again.
If any players listen to this, please just do not break our heart ever again. Just win the cup this year. Just go in, like every fight I go into, I just say, screw it, we're going to beat that team. You know, it doesn't always happen, but that's always my attitude. And so you guys are not designated players and whatnot. Just pretend you are and everything will go right.
They don't care. They've been just told by everybody, like, oh, you might make it to Leipzig someday. You know.
All right, so
you get loaned back.
So will you guys join us in the pact? So for years, and as you can see, I don't have this tattoo, and Pat's always high and dry that if the Red Bulls win the title, I will get a Red Bulls tattoo, and Pat will jump into the river. He'll jump into the Passaic River. He's not even messing around. Right after they win the title, I don't even care how cold it is.
Nope.
What's something you think you could actually do? Would you take Shatter and just drive it around loops around Red Bull Arena if they win the championship?
We have to get different wheels. That's for sure. But you know, they did kind of develop that area. It's not quite as undeveloped as it used to be, so it might be a little more difficult to do that. But I think you could probably get away with that on like a holiday or something. So if they win the title, for sure, we'll do something, man. What do you think we should do if they win the title?
I'm trying to think what can we do. I'm not getting a Red Bulls tattoo. That's not. But if we win with Bots FC, if Bots FC wins, I'm gonna get a Bots FC tattoo. Maybe I already have it. Who knows?
Oh, what a tease!
That's professional.
That means it's on his ass. I already have one, maybe. It's on his ass.
But yeah, not get a Red Bulls tattoo. But what can we do? I mean, I was gonna say, we could stick like a Red Bulls logo on the robot or something. But I don't know if the network would let us. We'd have to get permission.
They wouldn't know if we put it on the bottom.
Well, there we go.
It's on the actual protective part of the robot, right? So when the little plastic triangle comes off, oh hey, we didn't know it was there. We didn't realize we left it on there.
We didn't realize we put Red Bulls logos on the back of every triangle. Oh no.
Oh man, yeah.
That's actually funny. We could sell sponsorship spots on the back of the triangle, so when they fall off.
That's not a bad idea.
Dude, then we're gonna podcast logo on the back of one of those.
I was gonna say how much is one of those triangles?
How much per triangle?
A back of the triangle sponsorship logo. Maybe like $500. I don't know.
The Patreon money coming in, right? We got like $5 a month. We could do that.
Yeah.
We can create a NYCFC like bullshit robot and just have you smash the shit out.
Yeah, there we go.
I like that. Do that.
Yeah.
We'll make a giant pigeon and we'll just smash it.
All right. So what we'll do is this year before NYCFC, we'll just make something stupid. We'll just please record it. Just have Shatter destroy something with that logo on it. Definitely. I would kill for that.
Definitely.
All right. Okay. I like this. This is good. Yeah.
All right, we're going to make this happen. We're going to go through the schedule. We're going to find something with NYCFC that Shatter can destroy with the Mary Special, if you don't mind, right? If you're going to go, you got to go all out.
I think it's in good enough shape to destroy a logo. Yeah.
Oh, now see, it took us a while through this interview, but I think we've come up to something pretty solid. Now I'm excited.
This interview was always going to end with the robot destroying something.
Yes, right. All right, so guys,
you know what? I'm sorry. Given how long this interview is, we're just going to go into our last segments. Screw it. We're just going to have them stay on.
That's a great idea. Oh, Jay, you are so smart now. You are honestly very, very smart. I like where this is going.
I like how he's pumping me up for this already.
Yeah.
just to disappoint me with the belt later on. So
Because Adam and Eric are like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but don't worry, they're going to be all in on this as well.
that's not a bad idea to have honorary prediction members. I think we did try this when we were once a Metro, and it kind of worked. But
guys, just I don't want to just ruin your night, but 2-time champion in a row. You guys aren't taking this, okay? You can try every week, but this thing, when you predict mediocrity every season, you keep the title belt with you. Just saying.
wait, no, you're not 2-time in a row. I won in 2020.
No, sir.
Wait, hold on. No, I'm sorry. I won. Wait, no, because we went to your wedding. I'm sorry. My timeline's all screwed up.
No, yeah, that's right.
Oh, we haven't even gotten all my props yet that I brought for this.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the props.
All right. So let's do this. We're gonna do what we're gonna do is you're gonna get your props
first.
ready, and Jay's gonna introduce what we're gonna do for the final section, which is really just a prediction. So get your props, Jay. Set us up.
Okay. So time for our first prediction of the year. We got the Red Bulls traveling to San Jose opening weekend, Saturday, February 26th, 6 p.m. As we all know, predictions, the champion goes first, unfortunately. So, Truman, you're up first. What's your prediction for the game at San Jose?
Red Bulls love draws, right? They love draws to start the year. I mean, that's how the Red Bulls do it. And if I'm going to start defending my mediocre prediction title, it's going to be a mediocre 1-1 draw.
You say mediocre prediction. I feel like we now need the Red Bull Rant, like intercontinental title version of a belt.
that mid-card belt.
The mid-card belt.
It's the
We
mid-card
don't need to
title.
water down the belt.
No, maybe like whoever gets the most draws right gets that belt. Eric, just if you have a prop, just put it up there. Don't worry about it.
Speaking of mediocre, I have an autograph ball from Eric Alexander.
Oh,
You
wow.
remember when at the end of the season, the last home game of the year, they tossed these balls into the stands, right?
Yep.
And so we were running around the stadium. We run all the way from 101 to like the other side, and we're in a section, and this ball just rolls to me, this Eric Alexander ball. I pick it up. I immediately get tackled to the ground by some guy, and he throws 2 punches at me for this
Oh
ball.
my God.
And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
what did you do? And he like walked away. So I always have that memory of Eric Alexander. And speaking of mediocre, they're gonna lose 2-1.
There we go. That's a fit, Jay. You better put that in. That's an official prediction.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta take this in. All right, Adam, you can go ahead while I type in Adam's prediction or Eric's something.
All right, so I have to come up with a different prediction. I can't predict the same thing.
No, you can
Then
predict
you're
the same thing.
Because I mean, I did really want to say 1-1 tie. That just feels so right.
But you see, when you're going for a belt, especially early in the year, it doesn't hurt to copy him, right? Because you just stay level with him. That's the key.
I just if I was doing this, I feel like I would just guess 1-1 tie every week. I feel like that's a winning strategy here. But I don't know. I think maybe I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna predict. I'm gonna. If this is right, then it's gonna be wild. I'm gonna predict a 4-1 win.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The first reverse Henri of the year.
Mm-hmm.
If that happens, we are shipping you a Red Bull Rant sticker, and you're putting it on the fucking robot.
I would need to
No,
make a
that's
Red Bull
it.
Rant sticker first.
If they win 4-1, we're flying to San Jose and setting up that giant long bar that they have.
I think
I don't know. I think it could happen because nobody thinks this could happen, right? They could come in and we don't need to play defense against this team, and then maybe who knows?
I mean, even Struber's not expecting much this year, so who knows?
That's their coach.
It's sad, really. It is. All right, so I gotta go next. I'm gonna go the reverse Eric Alexander. I'm going with a 2-1 win just because. we had a reverse Henri. Let's go with the reverse Eric Alexander. I mean, first game of the year, obviously, who knows what's going to happen, but might as well be somewhat hopeful.
Yeah.
All right, Pat.
I'd rather they win.
Last one's up to you.
All right, so I think one thing that Red Bull likes more than draws, boring ass draws, is falling flat on their face out of the gate. And they're playing a terrible team in San Jose. So what they love more than anything else is 1-0 losses. They're boring as shit. Two terrible teams on the opening game of the season. So 1-0 loss to San Jose out in San Jose.
Damn. All right, we're all a little unique. That's fine. I can appreciate that.
All right.
Eric, I thought you had another prop in there. Or was I
have,
saying thing? Because if it's something what I thought it was going to be.
It is. You remember this sign? The
Oh my
giant
lord, that's
Mike
oh
Petke
my.
sign. You guys remember this from like 2014? We had 2 of these in 101.
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
You're the guys that started the whole like big head sign like trend that year. So that
I
was
think
one of
it's
the other ones.
gigantic.
Tremendous.
I actually thought that was going to be a giant Will Bales hat, but that's okay. That's bad about stock. Everybody.
Oh,
I
man.
It was
apologize.
back. There was no controversies around Mike Petke back then. He was just a cool coach, and we liked him, and we made big heads.
Didn't love Mike Petke. So, real quick before we wrap up, he came to one of the ESC parties, Christmas parties. That dude, when he was just before he took over, the year before he took over as being coach, that guy just hung out with us like, oh, so what'd you guys think of that game? Well, and we're like, why this? Well, you know, when Thierry didn't make the he didn't take the free kick, and they let what's his name take the free kick, and of course he shanked it wide, and they were like, why doesn't Thierry Henry? Well, they thought it'd take everyone out, you know, surprise everybody. Really, that was the plan? He thought.
Well,
it
I
was
mean,
gonna take
technically it
everybody by
worked.
surprise?
It did surprise everybody.
Sure, this surprised us because it came right at the fans, so you didn't even come close to the goal.
It's one of those things. It's like it's a good plan if any of your other players could get it on goal. You know, like if you could just hit it at the net, it would have been a great plan. It's just unfortunate because Thierry Henry was the only one who had the capability of getting it on net at that point.
It sucks. Roy Miller was a steady left back for years, but he'll forever be remembered for that free kick.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, it's tough. All right, so where can we guys find you on social media?
Just Bots FC, BOTS FC, on pretty much everything on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. On Twitter, it's slightly different. It's BOTS_F_C because someone else stole Bots FC and then got banned from Twitter.
Oh
So
my
we couldn't
God.
get it. But yeah.
I see Eric's got another prop here.
Yeah,
One last
I was
prop.
looking for it the other day.
This is from the home opener 2010 Chicago. You know how they always did the practice kicks at 101, and they didn't really know to like, oh, you got to throw the ball back and whatnot. So somebody kicked one like directly at me, and I had like wide receiver gloves on, and I just snagged it and dropped it down, and they had no idea where the ball went. So I have this ball from the opening game against Chicago, and definitely a pretty good Hablani. You know, never actually used it, but yeah, that's my favorite prop for, you know,
Legitimate salvage. It's legitimate salvage.
That's
that
right.
ball.
Yeah.
Hey, Maritime Operations says if you find it, you keep it, right? So-
Yeah. It was
Right,
better
so-
than the players. You know, the one time I sat down and I think Henri kicked one into the stands and it hit me directly in the knee.
That was hilarious. We like had just gotten there and we sit down and Eric looks away and Henri just blasted one over the crossbar. We sat in like dead center row. Like, what were we in?
we were 8 or 9 or something. We were
Yeah.
dead in the
We
middle.
were always like row 8, dead center, and just blasted right in the knee. He was like limping for a week. It's hilarious.
One of our listeners, he knows who he is when he listens to this episode, took a Thierry Henry practice shot into the Junkus because he was right behind the goal on the right hand side, and I think it was before a playoff game. I think right in the Junkus, right. I mean, straight shot down he went. He knows who he is. I'm not going to say his name, but he knows who he is.
That's hilarious. We never had quite that close of a call. I think someone got hit in the head once. I don't remember, but
That probably happened.
Yeah.
Probably.
We get hit in the head with flags a lot. You used to get whacked with flags
That-
a lot back when
Oh,
That
yeah.
happens all the time. I probably have a concussion or two from that. You know?
That's part of the course for being in that section.
All right, let's wrap it up on our end. You can visit us patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. $1 a month is all you need for exclusive content, such as monthly wrap up, live post game, anything you decide to do. Red Bull Rant at gmail.com is the email address. 973-348-5329 if you want to leave a voicemail. Facebook.com/Red Bull Rant. What was that?
They won't.
No, they won't. But I keep renewing that voicemail number. It's there.
Yeah, we'll have Farouk call in that number.
Oh, dude, I'd pop so hard for
Yes.
that. It'd be the best thing ever.
On Twitter at Red Bull Rant for the show, at Doc the Stooge for myself, at The Truman for Truman. Subscribe to our show via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, YouTube Music. I guess it's on there. I don't remember putting that there. SoundCloud, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. And that's the nice Shatter scarf. I actually think I might buy that, by the way. That's nice.
Sold out, correct? For
It
now?
is unfortunately sold out. We'll be doing another round. We made I think 400 of these this color, 200 or 400 of this color, but we're gonna change it up for next season. So we'll make a colorful version instead of the black and white. I think.
There we
But,
go.
Yeah.
Maybe a
It'll be
red
a
and
new
white
one.
version. All right. Last words for anybody before we get out of here.
All right, my last words, I'll let these guys, if they want to sign off too, but my last words is that I hope we drive Shatter right into San Jose and drive a spike right through that stupid team. Because I think that's the only way we're going to be able to win an opening game this year.
Well, they are the earthquakes, right? So it's perfect for Shatter.
Right? Yeah. It's
There
Kismet.
you go. My last words are that I really hope my prediction of the season is wrong and that the Red Bulls win. I think that would be awesome. So hopefully I jinxed their ability to break our hearts by predicting it. Maybe it's a good luck jinx. Maybe that'll happen. And also watch BattleBots Thursday nights at 8 p.m. on Discovery, or anytime on Thursdays on Discovery Plus.
My
Professional
last-
plug.
Yeah.
Love it.
My last word is at one point in time, I was good at predictions with the Bundesliga. I came in third in fantasy Bundesliga the first year they did it, and they sent me this Mats Hummels autograph ball. So
Look at this guy.
I got all the good props here, but yeah, we will see. Hopefully all the players listen into this podcast and really try to perform well and not play up to their transfer values. So give us a good year. Get the cup. I don't want any more of the hubcaps. We got enough of them. So we'll go get the cup this year.
Yeah. My last words are: I expect the Red Bulls to fall flat out of the gate, and then Shatter malfunctions and destroys my car for some reason. Just to add fuel on the pain.
And you need a new car.
Yeah.
All
Can't
right.
get a new car right now. I don't need a new car.
Well, insurance pay for it. You'll be fine. All right. So for Pat, Truman, Adam, Eric, and myself, this has been episode 386 of the Red Bull Rant. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, go Red Bulls.
Bye, everybody. Goodbye.
Lights.
Bye.
Bye.